Hello and welcome to this session of Groundbreakers Live. I'm your host Javed Mohammed, and I'm very honored to have with us Sven Peters. Sven, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. And Sven is a developer advocate at MongoDB and also going to be presenting at Dev.next. So I'm really excited. I guess we've got two very interesting virtual green screen backgrounds. So
yeah, I took the old Windows one, right?
Yeah, yours looks even brighter than ours. I guess it's more in line with San Francisco being a little, foggy at times or whatever. Anyway, so your presentation at Dev.next is the effective developer works smarter, not harder. And when I was looking at that title, the first thing that came to my mind as a parent was the kind of message I would give to my children: work smarter, not harder. So open that up, because there's so many dimensions to this. So what are we talking about here?
There is actually. So I'm an old Java developer. Almost started Java developing 20 years ago. And I mean, back in the days, we didn't have those fancy things like CI, CD, so continuous integration, continuous delivery. We didn't do any agile. And we didn't work in cross-functional teams, so there was no DevOps or anything. And you might think now that we have all these things, right? We are much more effective, right?
That's what I would think.
Yeah, that's what you would think, right? Because we have all these great new things, these new methodologies, these new technologies. But if you ask around, people don't feel very effective in their daily jobs. And I just want to uncover that a little bit in the talk. Why people think they are not effective, and how to overcome those hurdles.
Okay, so can you just peel a little bit into that first layer? So why do people feel they are not effective?
I think there's so much stuff going on. For example, we think agile is so great, but now we are in this hamster wheel of currently on sprinting and then on to the next sprint and on to the next sprint, and we never take the time to just reflect. Okay, there's a retrospective perspective on there, but people don't take the time to learn a new technology or a new programming language just for the sake of looking at if this technology would that really fit into our technology stack. Does it make sense? Not just to put it directly in production, but just to learn about it, or about the tooling. We use so many tools. Everyone uses an IDE, and I guarantee you everyone just used 20% of that, what an IDE can do. So why don't we take the time and learn the rest 80% and see what's actually possible and what can make us more effective in our daily lives? Not saying that we all need this 80%, but just to find out what's behind there. That's just is also so important to just know. We're so much in the unknown. Also with innovation. When do we take the time, the whole sprinting, to think about some innovative ideas? Maybe some people think, well, my boss, he's the innovator. He's just telling me all the things that I should do, right? He should be the innovative guy, or the product manager should be the one that cares about innovation and putting more innovation into the products. But it's actually all of us that have great ideas, that can come up with great ideas. We just don't have the time to work on those ideas. And I just want to uncover that, and then give also hints in the talk, like how you can work on your innovative ideas, like doing innovation weeks. That's what we do, or doing quarterly.
Can you just elaborate on that? So what is Innovation Week?
Innovation Week is just, you take every 5 weeks or 6 weeks, you take a week off and just work on stuff that you think will bring the product forward, but it's not in the product roadmap. And you might work on some innovative idea that you have, and you want to try that out and see if it really sticks in the product. Or you work on small paper cuts. So all this, this death by 1,000 paper cuts. If your product has 1,000 paper cuts, then it will die. But all the small things that will never make it into your roadmap, but are really important also to make the product.
So this is taking a week off from the sprint.
Yeah, just take a week off from the sprint and work on and take the whole team. And that's when you talk about innovative ideas, you think about, oh yeah, Google does this 20% of
Yes.
what they did it.
Yes. That was
And
exactly my thought.
yeah. But that's and we tried that too. But that is very on an individual level, and you always have a bad feeling of letting the team down when you work on your innovative
Side
stuff
project.
between, right? So the thing with innovation weeks is like you take the whole week off, the whole team take the whole week off, and can work together also on innovative stuff.
Okay. Well, I like the general concept because, you know, I think what I'm hearing from you is that because we tend to be so goal driven, you know, there are times in between we need to pause, and reflect, and just, you know, to take that step back. Where does because you talked about DevOps, and DevOps is about tools. So there's a lot of like open source tools and other things that are out there. Any thoughts about that in terms of just being working smarter, not harder?
Tools actually can help, but this is also not really, I mean, we need to know the tools, sure, and that's a little bit what I'm talking about, but this is not what the talk is actually about.
Okay.
It's like working on the stuff that really matters, right? So working on things that really makes a difference. And we also tend to work on stuff from people who scream the loudest, or work on stuff that are somewhere in the corners of our applications, but we don't think too much about the happy part of our application, where we can make 90% of all people happy, but we tend to work on some other stuff in our daily life, in our roadmaps that we put together.
Are there any like best practices you can share, just in terms of someone who, you know, you talked about CI/CD and DevOps, that just in terms of following that pipeline, are there any best practices you can suggest that you do that you find effective?
I don't think we are doing something really special in terms of CI/CD. There's of course, yeah. I mean, it's like the whole pipeline should be stitched together, and you should be actually part of every step in the pipeline. It's not just you're owning this part or this part. You should own the whole part of the whole pipeline. So you know actually what's going on. It's not just that you're responsible for a small part of the whole pipeline. You're responsible for the whole product, and that's why you should own the whole pipeline.
And because it's a, you know, I know you mentioned it's not about, so then the other part of DevOps is about the cultural shift, right? Because you're not, just like you're saying, you don't have those boundaries of here's dev and here's ops. You're kind of bringing that world together. So any thoughts about how you kind of help that cultural shift to take place, or that mindset of what you're saying about owning it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? We're not owning just a small part of it, and it's the one thing is developers and ops, but I see it as the same as developers and designers, right? We also need to understand a little bit of design to just judge it, or just to do small little design changes in our software. It's not just the designer that owns it. Back in the days when I was a junior dev, we had QA people running around, and we were just giving the software to the QA people. What nowadays we are owning, actually, or most of us are owning the QA part too. So we are making sure that the quality is okay. And I think this is with every step in the software development. We are the developers, right? But ultimately, it's the whole software development life cycle that we are part of it, and DevOps is a part of that too. But I think at the same time, it's also design designers that we also have to think about and integrate in our cross-functional teams.
Okay, Sven. So it sounds like a really exciting presentation. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, just want to say thank you for coming and sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.